but today we're going to do some fashion designer brands, and I'm really excited just because, some of these pronunciations are a little bit tricky. So I'm glad we can walk through this one with one another. Before we start, I would like to show you guys something. And right here, we have a little review section. So I would love if you guys could write a review, since I know you've been to a couple of sessions now. J. Paul has been here from the very beginning. And let me just admit, as I said, fashion brands. Our very first one is Armani. So this is a clothing and designer brand. It is very, very popular among menswear and women's wear, which is really cool. Oh, also, I'm just going to be simplifying it to men and women for the sake of just communication. But of course, yes. So, hold on, I'm just getting a message. No, that's okay. So this one is pronounced Armani. The biggest pronunciation, I don't like to say mistake. I do say pronunciation choice because our Indian accent isn't necessarily anything that is a mistake. It's something that's perfectly natural and it's perfectly normal. And it's something that comes with our languages. So the biggest pronunciation choice that I see here is Armani, that A. Actually, I hear a lot of people take on a Y sound, or Armani, maybe because they're breaking up that man word. But because this is actually an Italian brand, I Googled that. This is actually an Italian brand. So that means we're going to be going by some very hotty-totty language. Any questions? Cool. Does anyone want to try pronouncing Armani?
Armani.
Perfect. That was so good. Okay. This next one is Hermes. I hear a lot of people pronounce it as Hermes, and a lot of people pronounce it as Hermes. It's a French brand, which means that, of course, Americans aren't going to be necessarily the greatest at pronouncing it. But that's okay. You don't have to pronounce it like perfectly, like in perfect French or whatever. But if you're pronouncing it either of these ways, it's perfectly fine. And if you know how to pronounce these brand names, you will sound very smart and you will come across as very cultured, just in general. So this one is Hermes or Hermes. Does anyone want to try this one?
Hermes.
Cool, very good. Yeah. Cool, perfect. Wow, you guys are good. You guys are so good. Okay. This next one is Nike. Nike is a shoe brand, as I'm sure most of you know. Nike's pretty popular in India. Usually, I know Reebok is also very popular just because I lived there. But in general, in America or other places, I haven't seen a lot of Reebok. So you guys are pronouncing Reebok perfectly, but I do hear some people mispronouncing Nike. So this one is gonna be a very high, very Y-like I, and the KE here is exactly like a key that we put into a door. So Nike, instead of maybe the British pronunciation is Nike. And I hear a few people pronouncing it just different ways. Can anyone pronounce Nike for me?
Nike.
Perfect. So good. This one is a tricky one, once again, because it is an international brand. And yeah, perfect. Yeah. When we have an international brand, I believe this one is Italian. Just give me a second. I'm admitting someone from the waiting room. Yes. I believe this brand is Italian. So we will go Louis Vuitton. We're going to go really, really very I don't know. I like to say it's very European, but a lot of European accents are different. But yeah, you really want to mimic that Europeanness. Just think that you are Italian. Think of pasta. And you should be able to crack this one. Louis Vuitton. Does anyone want to try this one other than Milton? That was so good.
Louis Vuitton.
Good. So good. Yeah. You guys are cracking the Louis. The Louis is a hard one. Louis is a hard one. This next one is very choicely pronounced. The Adidas. So I hear a lot of things. There are a lot of underlying pronunciation things that we need to take into account when we look at this word. First of all, the DAS, as we talked about in our Sounds of A video, this DAS is very special, and it's going to take on an I sound in this case because it's at the end of the word. And as we said, sounds at the end of the word get dropped off. They get smushed together. So we've got Adidas. I hear Adidas a lot, but Adidas. Yeah. Can I hear an Adidas?
Adidas.
Could you say that one? Good. Cool. Yeah. All right. Hi. It's nice to meet you. My name is Reeya. I'm sorry you missed a little bit of the lesson because your Wi-Fi.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I completely understand. You can just message me on WhatsApp if you're having Wi-Fi issues, and I'll make sure to send you a list of things that we talked about before you joined. But yeah, welcome to the session. It's really nice to meet you. Yeah.
Thank you.
This next one is H&M. So very, very big thing that we see in this one. Hold on. So very, very big pronunciation rule that we see in this one. Sorry, sometimes I forget the words, you know, it happens. Very big pronunciation rule we see in this one is that the H letter is actually pronounced as H. And I know a lot of Indians, normally we are taught that it's pronounced as H. And again, like I say H a lot, and people are like, what do you mean? Don't you mean H? And I'm like, oh yeah. Sorry, H. It is something that I make a mistake with, and it's a little bit difficult to kind of go back to your ABCs and change, the pronunciation of one letter. Another one is Z. Z turns into Z. But yeah, so obviously, if you're in India, there's no need for you to be pronouncing a Z as a Z. Yeah, the Z as Z. But you can pronounce that as Z with no problems. You can pronounce this one as H with no problems. I'm sure an Indian audience will get you very well. But this one is a prime example of something that is super different in other countries that are not India. So yes, this is H&M. Again, since that and sign is in the middle, we've normally just like smushed it into the rest of the words. So it just becomes an N, like Eminem. H-N-M, H&M. Does anyone want to try this one?
H&M.
So good. Yes, that was so good. I know this one's a little bit tricky just because it's a completely different letter sound. But that was great, Ashin. Is that how you pronounce your name, by the way?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Okay. I hate mispronouncing people's names. So yeah, H&M. This one is, again, a very big offender. I hear a lot of people mispronouncing this one. Again, it's not mispronouncing, but I hear a lot of people pronouncing this one differently. So when we have that A in the middle, And it is a European, once again, this is a European brand. A lot of brands are European. When we have that A in the middle of a European brand, we can normalize just chucking that off to being a U sound, or at least an I sound. It'll be very squished and it won't be enunciated as an A or an AY. So that's a rule. Generally, European languages don't have a very tangy sound to them. They go and flow in one register. So this one is Chanel. Yeah. So that also for new joins, I do want to mention that I normally follow a procedure where if it sounds like a very soft U, it'll be a UH in my pronunciation things, and if it's a very soft E, it'll be an EH. If there is, for example, a long E sound or a long I sound, I go EE. And yeah, if an A turns into an I, it'll just be an I. So yeah, that's a little interjection right there. So this one's going to be Chanel. Oh, also, I'm not sure if you guys take any other languages. Does anyone take a separate language, a foreign language in your schools or
Yes.
high school?
Yes. Arabic.
cool.
Arabic.
Used to Spanish.
Spanish, okay. Do we have any French takers? Nah, that's okay. I take French. I don't know why. I mean, the Mexican border is like right there, but I take French. So generally when we have a CH sound in a European language, it's always going to be a sh sound. Chanel. Does anyone want to try Chanel?
Chanel.
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 Okay, cool. Yep.
Chanel.
Okay, all of you were so fantastic. You guys were fantastic. Ushin, I did want to mention that the E is going to sound a little bit less like an A and a little bit more like a very airy E. There's a lot of air in that E. It goes Chanel, and that just spills out. Do you want to try pronouncing
Chanel.
Okay, perfect.
Ah.
Yeah, cool. Chanel. So put that
Chanel.
Okay. I think there's some other pronunciations that we'll work on. We can get back to that at the end of the class. But you're doing a great job. Don't worry. All of you absolutely crushed that. Yeah. This next one, I did some research into this one. This is very, very popular in America, but I know that they just opened a store in India. Has anyone heard of this brand by any chance?
No.
No.
Okay, so
I have, but it's not that common in India.
yeah, it really isn't. But I do know that they just opened a store there. So Rujan, if you're interested. But basically it's women's activewear, but it is a very mispronounced brand, so I will bring it up anyways. This one is Lululemon. Lemon as in just the fruit, like literally just the fruit. It's right there. And then Lulu, like a cute little nickname, Lululemon. So I hear a lot of people pronouncing this as Lululemon, and you want to calm that E a little bit. That E is going to take away that Y sound. You're not going to have that Y sound, and it's going to be a very soft E and also a very soft O. Lemon turns into an I. So does anyone want to try pronouncing Lululemon for us?
Lululemon.
Perfect. Yeah, that was so good. Okay. Rujan, maybe you'd be more interested in trying this one?
Lululemon.
Perfect. So good. This next one, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. Prada. The biggest thing I see with this one are the A's. The A's are very tricky, which is why we did a lot of episodes on vowels. We walked through the vowels, personally, and now the future sessions are going to be a little bit more specific to certain genres where we can actually use those vowel tricks. So right here we have Prada, Prada. Over here we're going to have that ah sound or the AW sound. And then this one is the sound, the UH sound, when an A sounds like a U. So Prada. Did someone unmute? I'm sorry, did I cut someone off?
Prada.
Cool. Yeah, that was great. Anyone else?
Prada.
That was so good. Sorry, that was my computer. Okay, this one is Burberry. Now, I know that with Lululemon, we had when we had Lululemon, we had a word right in the middle of the brand name, and we pronounced it exactly like the word was. But when we have Burberry, actually, that isn't going to be how we pronounce it. We're not going to pronounce it as berry, as in the fruit. We're going to pronounce it more like the burr sound that we make here, Burberry. I've included two spellings here, just because it might help some people. Maybe some people are different learners than I am. Maybe this one makes more sense to someone, or this one makes more sense. So I've included both. Yeah, Burberry, but they're pronounced the same. Does anyone want to try? Burberry.
Burberry.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are on fire today. Okay, this one is a difficult one. So I've just in general, a lot of our Indian languages tend to really focus on the E sound. And this first E is the biggest and trickiest one. Generally, we have that Y tinge to the E. We, as in Indians, have that Y tinge to the E. But in the American accent, you want to try and minimize that. So this one's actually going to be Skechers, Skechers, Skechers.
Skechers.
Put it all together now, like without the space.
Skechers.
Skechers, perfect. Yes. Okay.
Skechers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. J-Paul, do you want to try this one?
Skechers.
You guys are so good at this. And yeah, this one, did I go over this one? No, I haven't. Okay. This one is Zara. This is also a very popular brand. I know because I lived in India. So in my time in India, I know that this was a very popular brand. I think it went actually like out of business, which is interesting. So this is Zara. Again, the A is very difficult, but that's going to be a very, very soft and light A. It's going to have a lot of air in it because it's at the front of the word. Notice how it's at the front of the word? So it's going to have a lot of air. Zara, Zara. Rujan, do you want to try
Zara. Zara.
this? Zara? Perfect. Yeah.
Zara.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are killing it. This one is French. I'm going to I don't mean to put you guys on the spot, so if you don't know, then you don't have to say anything. But I would like each of you to try this one without me pronouncing it. And I'm just curious. I want to see what happens. There is a phonetic pronunciation down here, so use that as you will. So who wants to go first?
Cartier.
Okay, let's try J. Paul first.
Cartier.
It was really good. I know someone else wanted to try. I'm sorry, I didn't get who it was. Does anyone who wants to go next?
Cartier.
Rujan, would you like to try this one?
Cartier.
And okay, Milton?
Cartier.
Yeah, okay. So Milton has cracked the pronunciation at the very bottom. The A is actually French. I'm sorry, I tricked you. I'm sorry. The A is French. The IER turns into a very light AY sound. And that's just French. That's not something that you need to know for the English language. But Cartier. Can we get some retries for Cartier?
Cartier.
Cool, very good. Yes. J. Paul?
Cartier.
Perfect. Rajan?
Cartier.
Think. Ooh, it's not my last one. This one is Gucci. Gucci. Again, this one is also Italian. There are a lot of Italian brands. This one is Italian and it is very Italian sounding. The U becomes a double O and that I becomes two E's. So does anyone want to try Gucci?
Gucci.
Perfect.
Gucci.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you do want to remember, you did a great job, by the way. You didn't do this, but I just remembered. You want to make sure that you aren't adding a Y sound anywhere in here. And you'll be golden. Yeah. That's the last word I have for you guys. But I do want to ask very humbly that you check out our website and we have a live review section. We have a review section for our live sessions that maybe you've been joining. If you're new, tell me what you thought about this one. And you can just type it in here. And yeah, you can just leave your name here and then that's it. And I would really, really appreciate it so that other students can kind of know. And also I can kind of know what you need from me. The rest of you are free to go. I hope you had a great session.